What is this? Hold on. I don't know what happened there. My sound just cut off. Why is this not working? This is not working. Give me a second, y'all. There we go. There we go. Alright, I'm about to be starting in a few minutes, y'all. Just sharing this out to a couple spots. I'm about to get this started in another minute or two. I'm about to give about 10 minutes for folks to roll in. There we go. All right. Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, your social media insurance bro, registered financial consultant, and I'm back again today to whap and tap on your head with yet another ADH wealth solution. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a new year, and we are completely open to new things, new horizons, new happenings, new beginnings, a bunch of that good stuff. And give me 1 second. And so today I wanted to start it off like we normally do with, the Wealth Solutions articles. Now, yes, I do personally want to serve an affluent, high net worth and ultra high net worth market. So, that's what I'm gearing to. But, and the reason why is because you're only as wealthy as your least wealthy client. Does that mean that I'm not willing and or able to serve those who aren't ultra high net worth? No. 1 second. I'm actually getting a text from a client. And so make sure again you hit that like and all that good stuff. But I want to work with as many people as I can work with, but I only want to work with those who are willing to do a lot of the things that I recommend, because what I recommend is not going to just be there for any old reason. So today is the first ADH Wealth Solutions articles post that I'm going to post live. And with that, my intent here is to go ahead and educate folks as much as I possibly can. But we're going to read an article, and as you guys know, I read articles from Think Advisor magazine, which I'm subscribed to, Advisor Hub, RIA, etc. And the reason that I read from those is just like anything else, there's publications in the industry you're in. For example, I know people who are in law enforcement or private security, and there's actually publications in that industry for the cutting edge, that, people in that industry who want to be cutting edge, want to stand the pulse of things, are going to stay in front of. Well, it's the same thing here. And excuse me if I sound nasal. I'm coming down from a cold. I caught some sort of super flu in December. I thought it went away, but it came back with a vengeance. So today's article from Advisor Hub is likely going to be more advisor based. But you know how I do. I always read you guys articles, and in between, I pause and I give you my own spin, my own opinion, my own thoughts, my own feelings, sometimes how it relates to you in terms of that. So, with that being said, we're going to get into it. It's entitled From Performance to Partnership: The Future of Ultra High Net Worth Advisory. Written by Anthony Abinante, the CEO of Archway Group. For advisors serving ultra high net worth families, investment performance is no longer a differentiator. It is an expectation. True value now lies in simplifying complexity, fostering clarity, and deepening relationships that extend beyond the portfolio. So, pause. What does this really mean? What this really means is that no longer is it okay to say, I have such and such. For example, I have my RFC designation and I know what the flux capacitor is. That's not going to cut it in today's world. Why is that not going to cut it in today's world? Because the division of haves and have nots has definitely, in terms of access to information, been erased. And so what's happening is a lot of those who have this ultra high net worth money are people like Kai Cenat. Now he's not ultra high net worth, he's high net worth, but still, right? He's worth what? $50 million. But he went from 0 to 50 million seemingly overnight. Now, yes, he was streaming online for years. Him, DDG, Mr. Beast, right? These people are now your multi-millionaires. No longer is it the guy in the suit and tie or the guy who worked for 35 years as, selling raw materials to construction companies. It's not a 60-year-old. Sometimes it's a 16-year-old, especially with things like NIL deals, name, image, and likeness. So what that means is it needs to be simplified. No longer is it a trust fund baby. It's someone who now didn't have a trust fund who needs to be explained these things, because often they're the first generation of that high net worth or of that ultra high net worth in their family. And they don't want the trope of this industry, which is male, pale, and stale, because the average financial advisor is a 61-year-old white male. And maybe he doesn't relate to Kai Cenat, and Kai Cenat doesn't relate to him. Maybe he doesn't relate to Mr. Beast, and Mr. Beast doesn't relate to him. See, it changed a little bit for us millennials. We kind of cowered behind the old guard. But if you look at Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're not falling for that shit. They're not going for it. They want to know the true value. What the fuck am I getting for what the fuck I'm paying for? So, for today's ultra high net worth advisors, the conversation has fundamentally shifted. Families operate with intricate financial ecosystems. Let's see who's saying they got it late. Lisa, what's going on? No worries. So, for today's ultra high net worth advisors, the conversation has fundamentally shifted. Families operate within intricate financial ecosystems encompassing multi entity structures, intergenerational ownership structures, philanthropic vehicles, and complex tax and jurisdictional considerations. Traditional performance reporting captures only a fraction of this picture. What these families seek is insight into how their financial world functions holistically and how it aligns with their values and long term goals. This is the new expectation standard. So, again, to what I said, the old guard of high net worth and ultra high net worth isn't what it used to be, right? So, again, this industry has a trope of male, pale, and stale, meaning the average financial advisor is 61-year-old white male. 71% of licensed financial advisors are white. Of that, I'm not sure the percentage split, which are male and female, but I promise you it's a substantially higher rate of males. The next highest rate is 19% Asian. The next higher rate from that is Latino at 12%, or it might be 9%. Next to that is African American, which I don't like that term. I like black. And that's maybe the high at 7% licensed financial advisors. But big money is getting younger. It's not getting older. We're in the largest wealth transfer in history. All those older guards, what we call them boomers, well, they're substantially over the hill. I'm in my 40s, so now I'm considered over the hill, right? The young boys now call me Unc. So we have to realize that in order to get to these high net worth people, again, your Kai Cenats, your Mr. Beasts, your PewDiePies, they're not they're not like us in terms of being scared to do what they want, right? You know me, I'm like Ted Pick. I'll drop an F bomb. People are always concerned about that. I suggest you Google foul mouth CEO of Morgan Stanley. They call him this foul mouth CEO for a reason. But these younger people, they don't give a fuck about all your fancy titles and your shiny suits and your, steak dinners. They can buy their own steak dinner. They can buy their own Lambo. What can you do for them? And what can you explain to them that you can do for them? So expanding the value proposition. Advisors go above and beyond investment management to incorporate such services such as bill pay, accounting coordination, consolidated reporting, cash flow oversight, and administrative management, which quickly move from nice to have to indispensable. These are friction reducing, trust building services that create time efficiency, clarity, and confidence. Broke genius, salute, bruv. So, what does that mean? Well, let's look at it. The old guard, broke people always want to sit down in the office with you. I'm going to be quite frank today, right? I have a friend who practices real estate in New York State, New York City. I told him, bro, you need to get on social media. Nah, man, the people with the money, they're out here in these streets. I said, well, what about Ryan Serhant? Now, the realtor I was speaking to happens to be a black person. And I hate that black victimhood mentality. And he said to me, oh, well, the white boy, he only goes on social media because he had the TV show. It's actually the opposite. He got on the TV show $1 Million Listings New York because of his social media following. But let me tell you something. Back in 1998, you know how people were selling multi-million and multi-billion-dollar properties? They were taking videos of it via VHS and shipping it overseas. And people were spending multiple millions of dollars never stepping foot in the property because wealthy people value their time. So I don't need to always come and sit down in your office. If I'm going to do a digital or virtual meeting with you, that means that I don't have to spend the time, money, and energy driving for 2 hours to the airport or to the private airport, booking my jet, flying, then driving from the airport to your office, waiting for your. I don't need to do all that. It's a Zoom meeting. Hey, it's 3 o'clock. Boom. Hey, we're on the Zoom meeting. Guess what? I'm on my elliptical machine watching the Zoom meeting, just like you, the person who's watching this either live or on the playback. So, things like virtual integration are very important. People value that. I know you all value that. Being able to be here and see me on YouTube, right? People think that same buddy of mine was like, yeah, man, you got to remember how to stay on top of people's head, man. You got to create a newsletter. Why in the fuck would I create a newsletter? I have a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook page. Guess what? I'm always on my client's face because I'm coming across your YouTube page. I'm coming across your TikTok feed. I'm coming across your Instagram feed. I don't need to send you a monthly newsletter via email, which you will never read. The gentleman then said, hey, well, crack $100,000 first. I sent him a statement, 174 in 6 months. So, these are friction reducing, trust building services that create time efficiency, clarity, and confidence. When an advisor becomes the connective tissue between family office staff, trustees, accountants, and attorneys, the family experiences true transparency. The advisor, in turn, earns deeper trust and a more strategic seat at the table. Right? So, creating true financial clarity. Performance reports answer one question: how are my investments doing? Ultra high net worth families are asking a broader question or broader questions. What is our real liquidity picture? How prepared are we for market disruptions or major business transitions? Are we funding future generations and philanthropy at the right pace? So, again, lower net worth people. I'm sorry, my cat is looking at me like, why are you yelling? I was trying to take a nap. um, Lower net worth people are not forward thinking, right? They're thinking for this weekend, maybe the end of this month. Oh, let's get into what I'm going to do for the year of 2026. I was talking to a colleague of mine earlier, and I said, listen, man, we got to prepare for, big money. And then, he was saying something to the event of, you're going to need to make more than that this year to achieve what you just told me you want to achieve. And I said, you're absolutely correct. However, the reality is we have to stop thinking small. Let's stop thinking in terms of days and start thinking in terms of decades. So this decade from 2026 to 2036. So if you've done your projection for 2026, I want you to add 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. That's how we need to be thinking. And I'm guilty of not thinking like that too. Listen, especially if you don't come from thought processes like this, it's hard to turn that switch on. But it's something that needs to be done. And you guys all, as you come here, you guys know I'm a supremacist, wealth supremacy, right? If you have that mindset, you'll get there. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might be 10 years from now. But 10 years from now, if you get $1 billion, you won't be like, oh man. You might have said, man, I could have used this $1 billion 10 years ago, but you're not going to turn it away because you got it that 10 years. You're going to be like, the next 10 years are going to be great. So, delivering complete balance sheet, delivering complete balance sheet transparency across trusts, partnerships, donor advised funds, and operating businesses unlocks deeper, more actionable conversations. At the center of this clarity is the general ledger, the golden source of truth that underpins every report, calculation, and decision. When the GL is maintained accurately and integrated seamlessly, it connects performance to purpose and transforms raw data into strategic insight. So, what are they saying? Realistically, the reason they're saying this is because they're saying, hey, financial advisors. Now, there is a financial advisor is a broad scope. So, what they're talking to is those asset managers that charge you money management fees because the world is changing. What do I mean? Well, we ain't got to go directly to Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, right? E-Trade changed that. But guess what? You can now invest on your Cash App. So what's happened now is the world of investing has changed. You see, there was a time where, for example, Lisa J. Stocks, you may talk about trading on a cash account, right? If you're trading future, forex, or trading options, right? Back in the days, you only had the availability. Still today, technically, you should really only trade in a margin account, but that's day trading, right? If you're trading in a cash account, technically they don't call that day trading, right? But guess what? You have a whole lot more access than you used to, even now versus 10 years ago. In 2015, you didn't have the same access that you do today. You can literally whip out your Cash App and invest in stocks. Now, you have to understand the difference of what you're getting into. For example, you're not going to have the access to IPOs. You're not going to be an accredited investor. You're definitely not going to be an institutional investor, right? And you're also not going to you're buying fractions of shares often in like a Cash App account. You're also not buying directly from the market. But guess what? You still can participate. And that participating or that gamification that they've made of the industry is soon to make what we really want to call them is stockbrokers, but financial advisors obsolete, or money managers. And I've been all up and through this industry, and people are like, wait, you're an insurance guy? Yeah, you don't talk like an insurance guy. You talk like a money manager. That's what I'm always told when I get to the ritzy yacht parties, when I go to the country clubs, when I go to where I get my suits custom made, when I go to the cigar lounge. Remember, I'm in New Haven, Connecticut, near Yale University. Yale University being the Ivy League school with the highest concentration of students, of parents in the top 1.1% of this country in terms of the income. Skull and bones. But those trust fund babies, their daddies, their jobs are becoming obsolete. I have a relationship with a guy here in Fairfield, Connecticut, who's 71 years old, who has a $600 million book of business. He happens to be the uncle of my adopted brother, who's half white. He was a white guy, right? Well, guess what? When I first got into this industry and the conversation we had, there's no slight that I feel from him today, almost 20 years into my career, because now that I've got the experience, I completely understand what he meant when he said it. And I was like, hey, what's going on, Uncle Dave? Check it out. I'm struggling in this business. You got any tips? He said, Lonzo, check it out. I'm a rich white guy who comes from a rich white family. I went to college. I have money and I know people. And this business was hard for me. He said, you're a black kid who comes from no money. You don't have any money. You didn't go to college and you don't know anybody. Well, you didn't graduate from college and you don't know anybody. Good luck, click. Now, back then, I took offense to it. Fast forward almost 20 years later, I completely agree with him. This industry itself has a 92% fail rate in the first year. And with stuff like robo-advisors, what they're saying is that the ultra-high net worth that you're serving is completely going to be changed. So what are they going to have to do? Well, you're going to have to offer white glove support, right? You're going to have to be available for your clients. For example, you guys may or may not know, I've got a few people who are watching this either from the clouds or here or on the replay who are my clients. You guys know I always talk about a client that I met here on YouTube who has over $1 million put away with me in a retirement account. Well, he has over $1 million placed with me in a few different accounts, right? The first transaction was $750,000 because he sold a home. And then he had $750,000 to do something with. So we put it somewhere. Then we also did life insurance. Now, this is a guy with no wife and no kids. Why would he need life insurance? Well, that's the importance of working with a professional who understands, because he's not using life insurance as a death benefit, right? What people don't know is life insurance can pay dividends, traditional whole life insurance. Life insurance is the longest paying dividend product in the country. There's only one stock that's paid dividends longer than life insurance, and that's something called York Water. Their stock is worth $18 a share today. I believe they started paying dividends in 1816. Well, guess what? New York Life Insurance Company, which I don't represent, started paying dividends in 1834. They have not stopped paying dividends a single year since. Right? People don't understand how cash value life insurance accumulates its cash value. It's not through your premiums or lapse policies. They invest in the bond market. Now, you may say, well, why would I let the life insurance company invest in the bond market instead of doing it myself? Because you are not an institutional investor. Therefore, they get coupon rates at a better rate than you. So they get better interest rates and better returns because of the tranches of money. In essence, the insurance company is acting as your personal bond desk. Did you know that Index Universal Life Insurance, the way that they credit interest to your policy is through the purchase of options contracts? Well, why would I let the insurance company purchase my options contracts rather than me? Again, because of the scale. I don't care if you're rich and you're putting $1 million a day. Life insurance companies have trillions of dollars of assets. Therefore, if you're putting $1 million a day, they're putting $1 million an hour. You can't compete. So they're going to get better returns for the sheer fact of the volume that they do it in. And that's how they credit your interest on an IUL, is through the options budget. Now, am I saying not to do so? Hey, listen, financial vehicles are literally that, vehicles. So just like a vehicle, you have to have all four wheels for it to go. Obviously an engine too, but you get the picture. You got to have all four wheels for it to go. So that's very important. So again, delivering white glove support. Oh, well, no, before I go there. So my client, he calls me. He's not currently in the United States. He hasn't been in the United States for 2 years. Well, I've done international business due to this guy. What do I mean? Well, he called me. He said, listen, I have an investment opportunity in Colombia. Bro, I'm in the United States. I'm not licensed in Colombia. No problem. I've got this investment advisor here in Colombia. I told them I'm not going to make a move until I talk to you, my financial advisor. Bro, we're in two different time zones. Yeah, that's fine. Bro, it's like nighttime for me. That's okay. I hope you don't mind. I'll pay you extra. Okay. You're going to have to pay me a fee for this. Cool. Well, now he's the proud owner of a hotel in Colombia, in Medellin. Called me the other day. Hey, I got a property in Portugal. Oh, or Brazil. I'm interested in this with some land. I need access to about $50,000. Here's the paperwork. Sign it. I'll send you a bill. Right? I have a subscription model with him, so technically I don't send him a bill. He pays me one flat fee for the year, and then that allows him instant access to me just about all the time. It's funny. A few years back, my wife made a joke, man, anytime he calls, you answer. And the principal of my firm was there. He said, listen, you better let him answer. Every time he calls Alonzo, Alonzo squeezes another $250,000 out this dude. And I said, it's not like that. I said, every time he has another $250,000, he calls me. Right? Because of that white glove service that I'm giving him. So the old ultra high net worth, they're an old guard. They're a specific type. They have a specific appetite. Even millennials are a little bit different in terms of their appetites and what they want. Oh, let me see if I can share this with my guy with that. Great post. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, let me also. 1 second, guys. I'm responding to something here. I apologize. So where was I? So again, that's part of the white glove service. The client expects to be able to reach you at multiple points in time. And that's why things like apps exist. Because with those apps, they can just pull up whatever, find their account, and go from there. So, for ultra high net worth families, exceptional service is not optional. It's the baseline for staying competitive. Advisors who anticipate needs, communicate proactively, and deliver with concierge level precision build the kind of trust that drives long term retention, positioning growth, and referrals. This is service not just as an experience, but as a competitive advantage. So you'll often hear financial advisors, ladies and gentlemen, who will let you know, listen, I'm only as wealthy as my least wealthy client, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not getting people who ain't wealthy yet, I'm not pushing them away. I actually foster them because there's something about large numbers. The difficulty is if I get 100 people who are only worth $100,000, I now can't give my client who's worth $10 million the attention he needs. Why? Because all those people worth $100,000 are vying for my attention. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get my attention. You're not going to get the concierge service. You absolutely are. Because the risk I run with catering only to the $10 million client is if he leaves, I lose a whole bunch of money. But if I got $100,000 clients, 10 of them can leave. Yes, I'll take a punch on the chin, but I still got 90 other $100,000 clients. And guess what other $100,000 clients do? They know other $100,000 people, just like $10 million people know $10 million people. The difficulty is those $10 million people are more apt to introduce you to their other $10 million people and move you upward than the $100,000 people are, because the $100,000 people are keeping up with the Joneses. So they want to keep it to their chest. They don't want to share the information. Not all the time, but often. So we got a few more paragraphs and then we're done with the article. I'll open it up for a couple of questions and then I'll close out. So this is service, not just an experience, but as a competitive advantage. So scaling thoughtfully. Offering more does not have to mean building it all internally. With the right technological infrastructure, integrated workflows and strong partners, advisors can expand their service model while maintaining profitability and focus. Ultra high net worth families are looking for greater insight, partnership, and stewardship, not more data. So what happens is they don't want to see the candles on your computer. They don't mean anything to them because what I've learned more than 10 years ago in this business is people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care, right? They want to know who you are. Social media is no longer social, it's interest media. So, what people find interesting is what they tune into, which is why often a lot of this stuff doesn't get tuned into, right? Because it's the foundation. For example, Lisa, if you were to go live right now, you'd probably have substantially more people watching because what you're talking about is interesting. But quite frankly, most people aren't ready to deal with that stuff, right? When they're looking at investing, realistically, if they don't have access to $1,000 in an emergency, which a large percentage of Americans don't, the word investing doesn't particularly need to be in their lexicon. Because what they're doing when they're building their financial house is they're starting with the roof, not starting with digging a hole in the ground, pouring concrete, and building a foundation, right? Let's talk about it really quickly. Again, nothing wrong with doing the investing. Absolutely do it. And you can do it in smaller increments. So, yes, it's interesting. But having been a person who's worked on Wall Street, who's had offices at 100 Broadway, 39 Broadway, and 11 Broadway, New York City, right? I used to come out, take two lefts, and walk right to the New York Stock Exchange. I used to come out at 39 Broadway and see the Asians grabbing the brass bull by the balls. It's a sign of virility and luck for them. Well, on Wall Street, we'll let you know. The wealthy don't enter the stock market for accretion. What's accretion? That means earning up or going up. They enter the stock market to keep up with and or outpace inflation and to preserve capital. So generally they go into it because they're already rich. I equate it to this. In the hood, we wear Jordans. We wear Jordans for fashion, not because they're going to make us good at playing basketball, right? Why do I say that? Because people who are good at playing basketball and are in the NBA, do they wear Jordans? You better believe it. But did they get into the NBA because they wear Jordans? Absolutely not. Excuse me. So again, this is no slate against anyone. It's just understanding the overall picture. I implore you to please go continue to do these things. Because like I said, it's a financial vehicle. And the vehicle needs all four wheels to go. So offering more does not so ultra high net worth families are looking for greater insight, partnership, and stewardship, not more data. Advisors who deliver on that promise go beyond managing wealth. They shape family legacy. And I believe that's the end of this article, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of this particular article. I generally read two articles, but like I said, due to the cold and the fact that I actually have to get up kind of early in the morning, let me see if I can do this one other article that I was looking at. Where is it? Building the Future RA Planet Partnerships, Inside Charles Schwab, The Rise of the Multi-Team Model. Um, page 14. Let me go to 14. So this article is life planning is a team sport and why couples need shared retirement visioning. So I'm going to try and run through this article. I'm not going to add too much. This, ironically enough, everybody knows, the mating, dating, and relationship content. For example, stuff like Pop the Balloon. And, we got all these red pill guys telling you to alpha your way through it. And I'm practicing financial celibacy because I just want to have the horizontal polka with a chick because I ain't never get none when I was young. I called them the Where's My Hugged Ass dudes. I used to be a Where's My Hugged Ass dude in middle school, right? I was jealous of the jock who was going and getting full access where I was just getting a hug to hopefully feel some boobs. You're Kevin Samuels, even though he was talking to men. But the major issue, the number one reason of divorces or the culprit is finance. And that's because couples don't talk about finances often enough. They don't talk about the plans often enough. So instead of asking what someone brings to the table in those first few dates, maybe, like I said when I first got onto this platform, you should go to a financial advisor. No, not on the first date. No, not on the second date. But by date three, four, and five, maybe you go ahead and you say, hey, let's go to a financial advisor. If you're serious about getting into a relationship with this person, right? Because going to that financial advisor, they're going to ask you things about your assets, your liabilities, your current investments, how much you have in savings, what are your future goals, what do you have in retirement, what do you have in investments. Nowadays, I ask people, do you have crypto? Do you have an Acorn account? Are you dabbling in trading? Maybe, maybe not. Do you have some real estate? What are your liabilities? Then we go through your budget. Do you know what is in the budget? Things like entertainment and dining out. So maybe your first few dates are inexpensive. And hey, guys, if she's like, hey, I need you to take me to the $1 million steakhouse on date one, nah. But let me tell you where that comes from. The woman wants to see if the man is a steward of money. Now, yes, there are some superficial women who are like, look at me. I don't need to go to the Cheesecake Factory. Well, you're going to live in them apartments because we're going to spend all our money on freaking share expensive steak so you can put it on Instagram. Meanwhile, we sleep on a fucking air mattress. Or, yeah, we spent 2 for $20 at Applebee's. But like I used to stunt on people when I lived in New York City, me and my wife slept on something called an heirloom mattress. AIRELOOM. They're handmade mattresses. The king size mattress I owned was worth $15,000, which is the price of a whole bunch of homeboys' used BMW or Mercedes, right? The first Benz that I was looking at was a C class. It was 16.5. My mattress cost almost as much as a fucking luxury car I was looking to buy. My mattress, not even the bed frame and all that other stuff. The mattress. So you want to have that conversation with your spouse or your potential mate. So this is an article by David Buck. He says, I was having a session with Troy and Dana in their early 60s. They were taking steps to shore up their retirement life. Property had been bought and house plans were being finalized. I started with a simple question. Dana, how long until you want to retire? Without hesitation, she responded, in 2 years or when we get the house done. Moving to Troy, it's your turn. What about you? Reflectively looking up and thinking, he lowered his eyes and said, I think around 75. Before I could even say anything else, Dana blurted, over my dead body, you're not. Even in the strongest of marriages, retirement can reveal differences that money alone cannot fix. One partner may dream of traveling the world. The other envisions volunteering locally or taking a part-time role to stay active. These differences aren't just about preferences, they're about purpose, identity, and how each person defines fulfillment. Lifestyle distinctions often are not noticed in portfolio reviews. Data collected from the retirement time analysis shows a consistent trend. Couples rarely enter retirement with the same vision for how to use their time. Nearly half of participating couples have different priorities than their spouse. While both may be financially ready, they are often emotionally misaligned. Retirement companies should be, retirement for couples should be a team sport. Advisors can play a pivotal role in facilitating what can be called couples visioning conversations. These go beyond traditional retirement projections and focus instead on three relational dimensions. Purpose alignment. Encourage each spouse to define their personal why for retirement. Then find the overlap. A shared purpose doesn't mean identical goals, it means compatible directions. And this is something that you can use today, not even in retirement, but hey, maybe with your mate, you want to say, hey, we've been distant or what have you. What can we do? Maybe things are out of line. Hey, we've been together 20 years. You get comfort and you forget about things. What do guys say? Oh, I've been with her so long, she let herself go. Guys, we do the same thing. We let ourselves go. We sometimes have to actually rebound and say, hey, I remember when we used to like to go get ice cream at the local soda shop, whatever it is, right? Life starts getting in your way. You get life, kids, bills, responsibility, work. You're tired, routine. Have the conversation. It's not an easy one, especially in a relationship for a while because you both get on each other's fucking last nerve. But if you have these alignments, it will help your relationship. So, time mapping. Ask each partner to complete a typical retirement week. Comparing calendars often sparks powerful discussions. Does one prioritize social activities while the other craves downtime? Visualizing it helps prevent silent frustration later. Again, these are things that probably cause divorce. Irreconcilable differences. That motherfucker got on my nerves and we weren't doing the same things, and I got on that motherfucker's nerves and we weren't doing the same things, or whatever. I ran into this new guy. He makes me have butterflies. I ran into this new girl. She makes me stand at attention. Whatever it is, it's different, right? Because that new guy or that new girl ain't gonna be there for you when you're sick, like your current spouse. Lifestyle integration. Invite them to name 3 shared experiences and 3 independent pursuits. The healthiest retirements balance me time and we time. This process turns abstract dreams into actionable design. When advisors facilitate these conversations, they don't just protect the couple's relationship, they strengthen their own client relationship. Joint life visioning transforms the advisor's role from portfolio manager to lifestyle strategist. It deepens trust, reveals new planning opportunities, and provides a platform for interspousal spousal engagement that no algorithm or robo advisor can replicate. So, you see how this article kind of ties into the other article? See, financial advisors aren't just financial advisors, we're also freaking therapists. And that takes a toll on you because we're not licensed therapists. But we often have to sit there when we're doing your financial stuff and hear a whole bunch of shit about your family that we quite frankly don't always want to hear. We got to take that. We can't share that with anybody, let alone if you're a managing partner. Because as a manager everywhere, you got to deal with shit from your subordinates. So imagine that multiplied by your subordinates coming and telling you, hey, I went to this guy's house and blah, 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 blah. So you have to do these things as a financial advisor, especially in today's world, to help yourself to get to those clients so maybe you can afford to go to a therapist and decompress. So retirement is not a solo event. It's a shared journey. The financial plan ensures survival. The life plan ensures satisfaction. Helping couples articulate a unified vision aligns not only their money and time, but also their meaning and purpose. From that one simple question, Dana and Troy realized that they were monetarily united, but not lifestyle aligned. After spending time discussing what was important to each of them, they found they also needed to reprioritize the financial strategy to make the most of life in retirement. They are working better together as a team. And that's the article, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for stopping by. I intend on doing more of these. Be on the lookout. I intend on collaborating with a few other financial professionals who are in this industry who we intend on bringing deep value for you guys. Um, and we intend on collaborating. And with that, we're going to bring different models for different levels of clientele. Like I said, on this channel, I'm going to be doing certain levels of things. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. Um, be looking out. As you can see, I got my RFC designation, Registered Financial Consultant. I am a member of the IARFC, International Association of Registered Financial Consultants. As some of you may or may not know, I'm a member of the MDRT Million Dollar Roundtable. Um, I have a lot of different things of which I'm affiliated with. So I will be collaborating with my buddy Dave Kinder and the Financial Advocacy Podcast. Um, because I intend on doing some work with them. I also will be working with another financial professional, quite a few of them, that I've linked up with in many different places. And we're going to put some wicked stuff together for you guys, again, at all different income levels. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Salute, Rael. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute. See we here. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. When people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Shout out to my champions and contenders. We are the champions. Shout out to those who are watching on the replay. Shout out to those who came late. You're never late, you're right on time. Peace.